Xena, warrior princess, the path not taken. The air was thick with the scent of burning oil lamps and the clatter of drunken laughter as Xena entered the bustling city of Troyius. Cloaked in shadows, she moved with the grace of a predator, her piercing blue eyes scanning the streets for any sign of her target. She had been here before, long ago, when she was still the ruthless warlord that terrorized kingdoms. But this time she was on a different mission, one of redemption. A nobleman had begged her to intervene in the kidnapping of his son's betrothed, a beautiful and kind-hearted woman named Xena, who had been taken by the mercenary Kyries. Xena knew Kyries well. He was a cold-blooded arms dealer who thrived in the chaos of war, profiting from death and destruction. She had once walked the same path as him, but she had chosen to turn away. Would he? She had to find out. A step into the past. Xena made her way through the city's underworld, where warlords, assassins, and mercenaries gathered like vultures around a fresh kill. The dimly lit tavern was filled with the stench of sweat and ale, and every eye turned toward her as she entered. Some with recognition, others with caution. And then, she saw him. Kyries lounged at the back of the room, draped in fine silks, a goblet of wine in one hand and a wicked smirk on his face. He was surrounded by hired killers, men who would slit a throat for a few coins. "Xena," he drawled, his voice as smooth as polished steel. "To what do I owe this unexpected pleasure?" "I need to talk," Xena said, keeping her voice calm but firm. Kyries chuckled, swirling his wine. "Ah, but talking was never your strong suit. You always preferred the language of steel." Xena's fingers twitched near her chakram, but she resisted the urge. Instead, she leaned in closer. "Where's the girl?" Kyries feigned innocence, but Xena could see the amusement flicker in his eyes. "Ah, you mean Xena? She's quite the prize, isn't she? But why do you care? Since when does the great warrior princess play the role of a rescuer?" Xena clenched her jaw. "I'm not asking again." Kyries studied her, then laughed. All right, she's safe for now. But you know how this works, Xena. If her noble fiancé wants her back, he'll have to pay. And if he doesn't, well, war is good for business." Xena's patience was wearing thin. "You don't have to do this, Kyries. You could walk away. Start over." Kyries snorted. "Like you did." He shook his head. "Come on, Xena. We both know the only real path is power. And the only way to hold power is through war." For a moment, Xena saw a reflection of her past self in him. The woman she had once been, hungry for conquest, believing that might was the only truth. But she had learned that true strength came from something deeper, and she had to make Kyries see that before it was too late. The turning point. That night, Xena found a way into the fortress where Xena was being held. The young woman was locked in a lavish chamber, unharmed but terrified. As Xena untied her, Xena's wide eyes filled with gratitude. "Who are you?" she whispered. "A friend," Xena replied. "Let's get you out of here." But as they made their way to the exit, Kyries was waiting. His men surrounded them, blades glinting in the moonlight. "Did you really think I wouldn't see this coming, Xena?" he said, shaking his head. Xena sighed. "You always were predictable, Kyries." With lightning speed, she struck. The fight was brutal. Xena's kicks sent men sprawling. Her sword clashed against steel, and her chakram ricocheted off walls, taking down attackers with precision. But Kyries was a formidable opponent, and when their blades met, it was a battle of equals. "You could have been great, Xena," he growled as their swords locked. "I am," she shot back, twisting his weapon from his grip and knocking him to the ground. With her sword at his throat, she hesitated. The old Xena would have killed him without a second thought. But not anymore. "Leave this path, Kyries," she said, her voice softer now, "before it destroys you." For the first time, she saw doubt flicker in his eyes. But it was fleeting. He smirked and said, "Maybe next time." Xena knew he wouldn't change overnight. Maybe he never would. But she had given him a choice. That was more than most people ever got. A warrior's path. Xena was safely reunited with her beloved, and as Xena watched them embrace, a strange sense of peace filled her. Gabrielle, who had been waiting for her outside the city, smiled knowingly. "You did good, Xena." Xena exhaled. "For once, I hope I did." As they walked away from the city, Xena glanced back one last time. The path of a warrior was never easy, but she had chosen a new way, one where she fought not for conquest, but for redemption. And that, she knew, made all the difference.